Everyone has a bright light inside of them that deserves to be seen by the world. That's why it's time to shine the light on the extraordinary who are accomplishing phenomenal things. This is the Shine Out Loud Show with Lillian Ogbogo.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever in the world you are. This is another episode of the Shine Out Loud Show. Yes, it's that time again. So welcome, folks, and join me as I have another spectacular woman of business who is sorting out our natural hair journeys and ensuring that we are not being toxified with toxic products, making sure that our locks and tresses and our beautiful hair is growing naturally, not just for women, but for our babies too. I have the one and only, the incredible Melissa Sinclair with me tonight. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Lillian. What an introduction. I hope I live up to it. Thank you for having me come and speak to you today about big hair and beauty. And yeah, I'm super excited.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. And I'm definitely sure you can live up to this because we're talking to the woman behind Big Hair. Now, most people, if they don't know you, as soon as they Google you, they see this woman with a glorious afro. So,
thank you.
Let's start with you. Let's start with what was your journey like from, because I'm assuming you weren't always natural. You went through the big chop. What led to that journey?
Yeah, do you know what? My hair was relaxed and then I went for a texturizer. I mean, I think I did what most of us do with hair. Like, hair is ever changing. Mm-hmm. And I had so many styles growing up. When I went natural, my hair, in all honesty, it wasn't a conscious natural hair journey. My hair was in really bad condition. Okay. And I just cut it all off. I didn't really give it much thought. I just thought, cut it off, start again, and take it from there. And I literally cut it down to like a level 2 or 3. So it was really short, all the same length all over. Okay. And yeah, it was through that journey and how people interacted with me, from friends, from strangers. And at the time, I was changing my lifestyle and I was eating a lot healthier, being more active and just being more conscious about what was in things. And that journey just in itself dictated where we went and where I went with Big Hair and where I went on my personal journey. But it was accidental, but a pretty amazing journey.
Okay, so you say accidental because, you know, when people say accidental, you have this image of slipping and falling onto something. So did you slip, fall, landed into a business? How did this happen?
So the day I cut my hair, there was no plan to cut my hair. I didn't plan to have a big chop. Mm-hmm. I planned to grow it out. And I had braids like 2 or 3 times and I was pulling the braids out by myself and they were really small. So I just thought, I'm just going to cut them out and start over because I can't do this every like 6 weeks, get my hair braided again, because I'm not that, dedicated to sitting down for half a day. So that was not planned. The big chop was, I guess, somewhat accidental because I cut the plaits out. And growing it back, it wasn't a conscious, I'm going to be natural. It was, I want my hair to be healthy.
Right.
And the journey to the business was through that journey and wanting natural products for my hair. We couldn't get them here then. You know, this was back in 2011, 2012.
Oh, yes.
When I started the business, but I went natural in 2010. And at that time, it was, you couldn't find products very easily in the UK. And when you did find products, they were either filled with chemicals or the natural ones weren't geared towards our hair. Mm-hmm. So I actually just started making things for myself personally, not planning for it to be a business. And my hair it started growing really quickly because of my diet and the things that I was using in it. And just having that understanding, I started doing things for friends and it kind of just naturally and organically turned into a business. I was like, this is actually a good direction to go in. So let me try this. And that's how Big Hair came about.
Okay. So, we will talk about the name of the brand and on all of the branding issue, but I want to go back into what you were saying about when we go natural and then the whole journey itself. And and I find that for me, I'm natural now, but it seems that, a lot of us don't seem to know what's going on with our hair. So it seems that a lot of Black women and a lot of women of color don't seem to understand, our hair and its textures. What's the first advice you would give a woman going natural?
The first advice I'd give, first and foremost, and something that everyone should keep throughout their journey, is focus on your hair. Pay attention to what your hair's doing, because even if your hair looks like somebody else's, it's not the same. All hair is different. So by all means, look to people who have similar hair types and see what they do, but really just pay attention to what your hair's doing, because your hair will tell you what it needs. It will tell you when it needs hydration. It will tell you when it needs moisture. It will tell you when it needs protein. You just have to pay attention to it. It really does have a mind of its own.
Okay. So, I'm a YouTuber. I love YouTube. And sometimes you're watching YouTubes for hours on end, and you're watching different videos on, all the different ladies with their YouTube advice and their YouTube hair journeys. And you're like, A, I don't have 4 hours to wash my hair. B, no, I really don't. And then you watch all of these. And so my question is...
Today's really a day.
Exactly. So my question is, in the era of YouTube, and how do we separate the fact from fiction when it comes to good hair advice?
I mean, YouTube is great, right? Because, hair tutorials, makeup tutorials, everything's there. But again, like you're separating the facts, go to places that are trustworthy and people that are trustworthy. There are bloggers who know and influencers who know and understand a lot about their hair. Mm-hmm. And there are also brands like ourselves. Like if you email us, and we get a lot of people who email us, not just about products, but how to use them, because that's a really huge and important step. Yeah. A lot of people buy products and use them in exactly the same way that they use their previous products. So they're not getting an understanding of their hair. So it's going to reliable sources. It's mm-hmm. going to reliable sources. And again, understanding and learning to understand your own hair too. But yeah, like reach out to people and speak to people, reach out to brands and experiment, because it's trial and error in understanding what your hair does. We all know how, like the journey from learning your own twist out, learning how to do your own twist out, and how many times you can get it wrong, and wash and goes, and how many times you can get it wrong. It's just practicing and, taking some information with caution, and making sure you follow up and do the necessary research to have a full understanding.
Okay. So that's the first thing, is find the people that you can trust and ask questions.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's put that out there, because people are, like I said, nobody has 4 hours a day to wash their hair, and you come out and then your hair still, it's like, no, I don't want to do this. So, but, we're talking about you, Melissa, and, people will say, well, you've just started in this industry a few years ago, but that wasn't your first foray into hair, because actually as a child, you grew up around hair.
I did. A lot of people in my family do hair, but we also had a hairdressers when I was younger. And my mom ran it, and it was family owned, and I spent a lot of time there. It was my first Saturday job. I was just like sweeping up hair, and then I got promoted to answering the phone and booking appointments. But I never knew that would be my fate then. I never imagined that I'd end up in hair care, because honestly, at that point when I was younger, it really didn't interest me at all. But it's amazing how much I've taken from that, because it's really influenced and given me a really strong basis and understanding of how this industry operates, especially on the salon side. Right. Spending Saturdays in salons with Black women getting their hair done, like I got to see a lot.
And hear a lot, I bet.
Yeah, like you get to see a lot, you get to hear, like anyone who's been to a hairdresser's knows exactly what that experience is, because it's not really just about getting your hair done. You see people, you talk, it's a whole experience, and it's definitely influenced, even stuff that we're working on now, it's influenced how we're planning it and what we're going to be doing with it.
Awesome. So, we're gonna break into this. I love this idea of more and more women taking conscious care of their hair. And the fact is, your brand, Big Hair, and it's not just about hair care, because you are doing more than just hair care, because you have series of events that you run that is around the holistic nature of women taking care of themselves.
Yes, that's right. We launched Big Hair Self-Care in February. Mm-hmm. We had our first event then, and the basis of Big Hair Self-Care was to really root us in wellness, because that was the plan in the beginning. It was about connecting all of the dots, because my natural product journey started with my natural lifestyle choices, because I was conscious about what I was eating, and also changed my lifestyle in terms of activities and what I was doing. So when I launched, it was always about doing all of that together. But the industry has changed so much, and we were known as a hair care brand, so that kind of dictated what we did. And when we rebranded last year, I really wanted to ensure that we were making those connections, especially now, because there's so much going on, and there's so much that we go through as Black women and women of color, that where I just felt it's now we have to create these offline spaces and create safe spaces where we can really be rooted in wellness and bring everything to do with self-care and wellness into a space because the women that we're talking to, this is their lifestyle. Like, people
Yes.
who are looking for our products, they're not just looking for products. Their life experiences and everything that they're going through is impacted on several different things. So we're just bringing all of this stuff that we already know. It's things that we've been speaking to women about at events for years. It's the conversations we have with our customers over email. So it was just us bringing a physical space for us to speak about this and be about this.
Okay. And I think it's actually very, very important, because, like you said, women right now are looking for different things. You're looking for a way to maintain a balance in their lives. And I think, it's important that we actually do this consciously, because it seems like 2018 should be the year of self-care and wellness and well-being.
Definitely agree. And I think that, as I said, for Black women and women of color, I think it's especially important because, there's a lot of socioeconomic factors that affect us. So we have completely different experiences. So it was really important for me to create a space for us. And the first event was so amazing, Lillian. We had, just over 20 Black women and women of color. We've got Sinclair, who's amazing, and she's got this big ass fro, and she teaches yoga, and she's just like super awesome. So you've got her leading the class, and she's just this ball of energy, and you literally feel her energy in the whole room. So you walk into the room, there's 90s soul and R&B and hip hop playing. And you've got a yogi instructor with a big ass fro, and you're surrounded by other women who look like you. And we do yoga, meditation. We had a sharing circle, which was awesome. Everyone shared their self-care tips. Mm-hmm. And then it was just before Valentine's Day. So we had everyone, kind of break out, have a chat with each other. And everyone wrote a love letter to themselves. And we actually posted them back to everyone for International Women's Day. So it was a really special day and a really great introduction to what kind of space we really want to create for women and what we'll be doing going forward. And we've got our next event on the 9th of June.
Okay. And
we've partnered with a Black-owned yoga studio in South London. So we're super excited about it.
Where in South London? And just...
So we're at Even Grace in Battersea.
Ah.
And it's on the 9th of June.
Okay, so yes, please, you're going to share that with us and share links and send us links so we can put that out.
Definitely.
This is absolutely, absolutely does my heart good to see women in yoga classes, for us to be in those spaces, for us to start saying, yes, we do these things and we do take care of ourselves.
Definitely. Because I don't know about yourself, but I've been interested in yoga for years, and I've always felt like a little bit of an outsider when I've gone to studios, because it's usually only me or maybe one other person who looks like me. And it's such the yoga studios that are around don't really represent us.
I I laugh because I've been to some yoga classes, and you look around, and you're like, and then the person in front of the class is saying stuff and go, so now you're gonna put your leg over your head, and you're like, lady, this is my first class. I don't know what you're talking about, but no. And then they're like, okay, from your leg going over your head, you're going to touch your bum. I'm like, no, I'm going to go home.
Right. And this is the thing, like a lot of classes aren't geared towards the beginner, and aren't geared towards an alternative experience. There's a lot of women who, haven't been to yoga classes. Actually, interestingly, our first event, a lot of people who came, I'd say maybe 60 to 70% of the attendees at our first event were new to yoga.
Right.
And this was their first experience. And it was in a room filled with other women who were sharing that same experience. And I don't know anywhere where you can get that. I've never been to a class with even the majority of Black women, let alone everyone.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a really, really special experience. And it's what, our attendees who came shared also.
I bet it was magical. And, I think we need more and more of those spaces. We need more spaces where we can actually express the full breadth of ourselves. But also, I think there's also a need for us to understand that we need to be in spaces and not feel like we are excluded. I think having more spaces like this will give more women the confidence to step into other spaces and say, well, I am here and I will be represented here. And I think that's the powerful thing of what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And it's exactly how I feel. It's really just about giving that power to say, look, this space is for you, like wellness is for Black women too.
Exactly. And, so we talk about wellness, we're talking about hair, we're talking about your products. And, one of the things that is the buzzword the last few years we know is going natural, is natural products, is organic, is vegan, is whatever label that you can tag on it to make it seem, healthy. And I think the reason why I'm saying it like that is because there was a recent news piece on the BBC, another hair care expert who was on my show recently, Tola Kogu, was on that show, and she was talking about the toxicity that we are getting from the products that are on the normal shelves, and the fact that there are hidden ingredients in there that affect our endocrine system as women, and we don't even know this. So, as a parent, as an aunt, as somebody who has young children who you're putting these products in their hair, what's the first thing that you want to tell them to look out for in products? If they're still buying off the shelf, if they're still just buying regular products, what should they be aware of to mitigate?
Wow. I mean, there is such a list, Lillian. There is no one ingredient. There are so many ingredients that we should be looking out for. Like one of our things when we created the range was writing in plain English. Mm-hmm. We actually write our labels twice. So every ingredient has its chemical name and its actual name on our labels. And we list all of the ingredients on the website. It's really about the education and understanding what we shouldn't use. Things like parabens. Parabens mimic hormones. Mm-hmm. They're linked to cancer, and they're in so many things. So parabens is a big one. Like parabens, I'd say if you'd ask me for one, I'd say parabens.
Okay, so that's
just because of what they do.
And that's the first thing we should be aware of is the parabens. And especially for children, because their scalp are thinner, and I don't think we should be exposing them to that at that age or at any age.
Definitely not. There's so many toxic and damaging ingredients. It's really about not exposing ourselves, our children, and educating ourselves so we can share that information with people. And the transparency is super important. That's why we're really transparent with ingredients.
Awesome.
And again, there would be so many to run through on what to avoid. So it's really just having an understanding of what they are and what people can do.
Okay. So if someone was to look for these lists or look for these products, would you have it on your blog, in plain English, what things to avoid? Would you have it anywhere that, if they just come onto Big Hair, that they can find this?
We actually just wrote that one as a guideline of the type of things to avoid and why we don't use them. So that will actually be on the blog in the next, say, 2 weeks.
Awesome. Okay,
So yeah, we'll give you the first link for that.
Great. I'm looking forward to getting it, and I will share it on the social media so that we can actually get that information out. I think it's not just important. I think it's vital that we understand what we are putting on our bodies, in our system, and also understand where our money is going. Because if people are creating products and deliberately keeping information from us that can poison us, we need to know about it.
Oh, definitely. Like, we've always been very clear on what we don't use and why. So like the silicones, the parabens, the mineral oils in terms of hair health. And yeah, I think it is definitely a step that can be taken to help people understand what they shouldn't be using also.
Great. So yes, please do share that with us. I'm looking forward to reading it myself. And
thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I was going to talk about this, and this is for me after, the fact that I've gone natural, and then I start seeing these things about the hair grading system, the 4B, 2Cs, 3Ds. Is that just another way of giving us as women of color standards that we need to attain? That's good hair, that's bad hair. Do we need those grading systems?
I personally don't use them. We use them to help communicate things to people who use them as a system, because that's people's understanding. If you see the terminology we personally use as a brand, we call ourselves the artisans of afro and curly hair, because we feel that afro and curly hair is more descriptive, because some people have afro hair types and some people have curly hair types, but there are so many different hair types under afro hair and so many different hair types under curly hair. Yeah. And I don't personally feel that the numbering system is useful in understanding how hair is. I definitely think that it can cause, further segregation, and it has created a hierarchy for sure. But then at the same time, I do understand why people use it, because it can help people understand certain things. But yeah, it's something that we use sparingly, and it's not the language that we use as a brand.
Okay. All right, and that's fine, because, I think for me, I look at it, I'm like, okay, that seems to be another conversation, another hurdle. I was actually on, I think I was on the bus, and I was listening to these young girls, and they were talking about, one was going, well, my hair is this, and my hair is that. Oh, but you see that other girl, her hair, and it was disparaging tones, and I'm like thinking, are we still looking for ways to kind of go, well, I'm better than you, my hair is better than yours? And I thought, no, I think there should be a difference in the language.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are two sides, because again, some people can find it really helpful because it can enable them to find people who have a similar hair type, and which may help them have a better understanding of their hair. But then, with anything, it can be used positively or negatively. And I think it's a much, much bigger conversation than the actual hair typing, because it then links into colorism and shadism and a lot of other things that we experience in the community. So it's about addressing and discussing all of those things. We can't just bring it down to, okay, these hair types are causing a problem, because it's systematic and it's part of that system. Okay. And we associate certain hair types with certain people and certain skin tones, because we assume that, so if somebody looks like this, then we assume that they're going to have this type of hair tone. Or,
exactly.
We assume that, someone with darker skin is automatically going to have thick afro hair. And the type 4C afro hair that people would think that would go with that person. Or on the flip side, someone who's very fair and possibly mixed heritage would have looser curls. And that's not how things go. There's not one hair type for any one type of person. And actually, we don't even have one hair type on our head. So it's always crazy to me, because most people have 2 to 4 hair types.
2 to 4 hair types. Okay.
2 to 4 hair types on your one head. So a hair type helps. It doesn't help. if most people believe that they're 3C, but they'll probably have 3B to 4B in there, and people believe that they're 4C, but then actually they've got coils and this and that, and what would go down to 4A, and it's not, nobody has one hair type on their whole head.
Okay, this is actually news and good to know. And I think it's, like you said, it's all part of the education and the information that people get, and I think it's how the information is used is really important.
For sure, definitely.
So, we are looking at you. You've gone from working corporate, and you were on your way to being an architect?
So I was a quantity surveyor. I was on my way to being chartered. I was like 6 months away when I left the industry. I went on a sabbatical and got a taste of freedom and never went back. But yeah, I was in construction for quite a few years, and that's what I have my degree in. And that's pretty much history now.
So the reason why I bring that up is with the challenges of running your own business and, looking at what you learned in your industry, has there been anything that you've learned in your industry prior that you've taken into your business arena?
Oh, definitely. So many transferable skills, because I was a quantity surveyor, which deals with quants and numbers. So you'd look at an architect's drawing and figure out how much bricks you need to build the building and how much cement you need to fill the foundations and all of those things. So initially when we started out, and even now, I source most of our supply chain directly. So I go out to different suppliers, I source everything. And those skills from the construction industry help me do that. I've got a really good head with numbers. So it's helped me do everything. Like, I can build a building, so I can build a product.
I like that. I like that line. You can build a building, you can build a product.
And I really could. And that's where, like, because I do consultancy now for beauty businesses who are starting new product lines also. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do for them. I do product development, because that's where my skill base is, in sourcing, in logistics, in all of that. So I'd say most of my skills have been transferable, which is crazy, because all of my skills I'm using in the beauty industry come directly from my experience in the construction industry.
Well, and that is actually the reason why I wanted to ask that question, because when we look at starting businesses and the whole conversation of being an entrepreneur over an employee, sometimes you have this conversation like, oh no, being an employee, there's nothing to learn there. There's nothing to learn there. And I've been asking a lot of people who segued into their own business what they learned as their time as an employee and when they were in the corporate world, and how that can actually help you be a better business owner. And I think that's very key, because especially for people coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, that wasn't the one job that I did. I was working from when I was 16. I always wanted to work. I couldn't wait to get my first job when I left school. And I've pretty much worked throughout my whole life. So there's loads of other odd jobs that I got where there's transferable skills. And I think that we can learn from everything. We can learn from everything and anything. Even if we think at the time, like, this is rubbish and I'm never going to learn anything and I'm never going to use it. At some point you'll use it and think, this is what this is for.
Yes. Okay. So looking at your challenges, actually, no, let me rephrase that. Looking at where Big Hair is now and the challenges that you've experienced, what has been your greatest success to date?
Wow, greatest success.
Yes.
See, that's a difficult one, because I feel that at every stage there's something amazing that happens where I'm just like, whoa, like, I can't believe we've done this, or I can't believe this has happened. I'd say more recently was being nominated for the Vogue Beauty Award.
Okay.
And it was something that really wasn't expected, and actually something that we weren't actively looking for, in the sense that we didn't do this and I didn't build this brand to be recognized by Vogue. However, Vogue recognizing us was a special moment, because, all the other brands and products in the category were bigger than us. They're all bigger than us. We're still a small brand and we're growing, but to be recognized by Vogue and to be on a list with other brands who are much more established is a really amazing achievement, because it's like, well, actually, us small brands are really paving a way and the industry's paying attention to us.
Okay. And that's actually, I'm going to say congratulations for being nominated, and that's actually huge.
Thank you.
That's actually huge. Now, I have a couple of questions that have come in for you. So the first question is, someone would like to know if you're going to be at the Afro Hair Show coming up this year.
We won't be at Afro Hair and Beauty Live this year, unfortunately.
Okay. And the second question I've had is, they want to know what you're doing with your big hair company or brand. Is it a passion or a career?
I'd say it's both. I'm really passionate about what we do, and I'm really invested in what we're doing. So yeah, definitely both a passion and a career.
Okay. So, you know what? I think there's so many things I want to ask you, and there's so many places I want to take this. But I think the first thing I want to know is, when you look back at your story so far, when you look at how far you've come, what's the one advice you will give your 18-year-old self?
My 18-year-old self. Don't settle. Don't ever stay where you are because you think that that's what you should be doing. Just keep trying, even if people don't get it, even if people don't think that it's a good way forward. Just keep pushing and try.
Okay. That's an awesome answer. And we have another question. The question that does come in is, how do you stand out in the crowd of emerging brands?
I think for us, being rooted in wellness is, we're really trying to piece everything together, and we're really trying to speak to our target audience and really build relationships. And I don't think that all brands are doing that. Like, we're not just like, sure, we've got amazing hair care and we've got amazing products that people love, but we're also creating amazing events. We're also an email away if there's questions you have, and we'll help you with routines. And I think that we're going over and above as a brand, and that helps us stand out, because we're not just here saying, hey, look at our products, buy them. And that in itself is a really different way to do business, because we're building relationships. Like, the relationship we want to have with our customers is almost like the relationship you have with your local shop. They get to know you, you get to understand you, and they're speaking directly to you with what they're doing. And that's what we're trying to do and create. And I think that makes us stand out from our other brands and other competitors.
All right. So I hope that answers that question for you. And, I'm looking at your brand. I'm looking at what you're doing. So, we've talked about self-care and we've talked about the wellness part of your brand. So here's my question for you. What are your own current self-care practices?
Self-care practices. I have a few depending on my mood and what I'm needing the self-care for. One of my go-tos is a soak in the bath. I've got like a stand where I can put like my iPad on and listen to audiobooks, and I've got candles and stuff, and I really just zone out. Baths are my thing. Like, absolutely. I'd say that's my number one, baths. And actually my second is, I'm a real big foodie and I absolutely love to cook.
Okay. So
sometimes after a long day, like, cooking it's something special that I do for myself. And sometimes when I'm alone, I literally set the table and everything, which is something that a lot of people are like, what? You set the table for yourself? And I really do. I cook, I set the table, I put out a jug and glasses and set the table like fully like I'm having guests, but just for me. And sometimes I buy fresh flowers as well and just have a really nice meal and just some really good quality time to myself.
I like it. I like that a lot. I'm a bath girl. Give me a good bath, and I basically go to the extreme because I like my milk and honey baths. So self-care is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, baths are awesome. Like I've got like a whole cabinet of loads of different bath salts and this, that, and the other. And yeah, like baths are definitely my thing too.
Cool. You should try the milk and honey one. That is absolutely divine for the skin.
Milk and honey. Okay, let me write this down. Lily. We're gonna have to talk about this after. I'm gonna have to get some of your tips.
Definitely, I'll be glad to share. I mean, I tell people, hey, if it's good enough for Cleopatra, it's good enough for me. So,
Right?
so the one thing about every entrepreneur, you're going to have successes, you're going to have setbacks. So, how do you bounce back from your setbacks?
Just never losing sight of the goal. It's okay to have setbacks, and failing is really, and I say failing, like some people are really, they don't like the word failure. And I think it's what society has told us that failure is, but actually getting things wrong is where you learn. And even sometimes if you have to scrap something completely, go back to the drawing board and start again, it's an amazing way to really understand what you want and what you're working towards and what's important and what isn't. And I just think, yeah, the key is just not losing sight of the goal and not being scared to go back to the drawing board and start over if that's what's needed.
Okay. And that is actually quite cool because that segues us into another question is overall with this brand, with the work that you're doing, with your passion, Melissa, what do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, that's a big word. My legacy.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that question coming. Yeah, I don't really know what I'd like my legacy to be. Personally, I think that myself and Big Hair will go on to do many things because that's what we do when we're evolving. I think most importantly, I want my legacy to be, I guess, that it's really just been about us. And the focus and moving forward is about Black women and women of color and addressing our needs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where I am right now. That's the focus and with what I'm doing. We're ever evolving and ever changing. And yeah, legacy is a really big word. And I've never really thought about things in terms of leaving or having a legacy. But right now, like my focus is creating for us. And if that's what we're known for, then that would make me super happy. And that's what I'd want people to think of myself and Big Hair.
Okay. That's a good answer for someone who hasn't thought about it.
Thanks. I'm really just thinking on my feet because you just threw that one at me, Lillian.
Yeah. I try. I thought I should surprise you with something.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, you've surprised me with everything because, which is really great because Lillian doesn't send any questions over. So this really is just like live and direct straight to you guys, just in case you didn't know.
Listen, this is how we do it. We want to get you to tell us your story. We want to understand why we should care about your brand, why we should care about what you care about. And it sounds like your one singular goal is that you care about our hair, you care about our well-being, and you want us as women, Black women, to feel represented, cared for, and taken care of. Am I right?
You are 100% right. I feel like you should be part of the team. You literally just got us down in one. That is exactly right. Thank you. That was a brilliant summary.
Awesome. All right. So, we are looking at our so loud moment because we always do this on the show. We get our guests to share with us what their so loud moment is of the week. So what is your so loud moment?
Okay, so I'm going to be controversial because I know there was so many talks about this. And actually it's, okay, so let me say what it is and then explain.
Okay.
So my so loud moment for this past week was watching Doria Ragland, Meghan Markle's mom, just go into the wedding by herself. And again, I know it's controversial and there was a lot of talk of why she was alone, why there was nobody there. But seeing her as a Black woman, locks not tucked and hidden, nose ringing, everything, and looking at her daughter in complete adoration and just holding her own by herself, I can't do anything but take my hat off to her. And I think like that for me was my So Loud moment of the week. And again, it's so controversial because I know there's so many talks about it. And, you know, myself, I'm not interested in the royal family, haven't been with Meghan Markle herself. And, you know, there's a lot to discuss in that. But for me, seeing her mom in all her glory as a Black woman, just being her was, I think that was amazing. And I've got nothing but respect for the way she handled herself and the way she just stood in her true self. That was everything to me.
You know what? I will have to agree with you because my only, I don't want to get into the conversations that people are having about why she was there by herself.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Listen, that's not our dynamic. We don't know what the dynamic is, and we don't know why she made that decision.
Exactly.
All the decisions that were made is not for us to speak on or speculate.
Exactly.
My only umbrage was I didn't like the color of her outfit. That was my only umbrage. I didn't like the color of her outfit, but she showed up, and like you said, she was there for her daughter. The love for her daughter was just shining through. And, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the thing in its entirety. And I came and saw bits and pieces of it. And every time I came in, I'm like, oh, wow, this is a little different. When I saw the young man with the cello, I was like, okay. And then I apparently had missed the choir, and it was a lot of different things. So I think we should definitely celebrate Duchess of Sussex mother on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that we have to celebrate her.
Yeah.
We have to, because like you said, she showed up. She showed up, nose ring, locks,
exactly.
Sitting there, like hats off to her again. I think we have to rate her. We have to.
I agree, and we're going to do another quick round of applause for the woman because, like you said, she showed up. She was there.
I am clapping real life. Like she deserves that.
All right. Okay, so we had the big round of applause for Meghan's mom. And actually, you know what? I think we need another shout out. We need another shout out for the show. We don't normally do two, but I think we need to do another So Loud moment. And I think for me personally is to every woman in business who has started a business that is taking care of the Black woman. From our hair to our clothes to our feet to every aspect of us that is being taken care of by someone who's decided that is not good enough for us to just be on the fringe. So to each and every one of you, and Melissa, to you, I absolutely adore you. So thank you so much for taking care of us, and you get a huge round of applause as our So Loud moment, second So Loud moment of the week.
Thank you so much, Lillian. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. I think I'm blushing. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and definitely shout out to all the other business owners who are really out here and just creating a space and carving a way for Black women like us, because it's so needed. It's so needed. And I'm so grateful for all the other Black brands who exist and who are on this journey and doing this.
Exactly. And I think we should celebrate more, and we should work together more. And, I am looking forward to your next events. And where is your next event going to be?
So next event, 9th of June, Even Grace Wellness Studio, which is in Battersea. So the details are going to be up, but they are already up. They're already up. I'm going to share the details with you, the Eventbrite details, so
awesome.
You can share with all of your followers. But yeah, 9th of June, we've got 2 sessions because we sold out super fast last time. So 2 sessions, Even Grace Yoga Studio in Battersea.
Okay. And I will share it. We'll tweet about it. Let us know beforehand. And I think I might come down.
Oh, we'd absolutely love to have you there, Lillian.
So, this has been so much fun. And the question, and my final question is, before we wrap up, is, if you have someone coming to you tomorrow, and I know you do product development, and say, I want to be where you are, what advice would you give?
What? Just one piece of advice, or?
Well, the top 2 advice, the top 2 pieces of advice you'll give them.
Do your research and don't cut corners.
Okay.
Yeah, do your research. And yeah, those are the 2 important things, because if you do cut corners, it could, and I say this from experience with doing consultancy and working with clients, it can come back to bite you.
Right.
So yeah, do your research, don't cut corners, and, try and get a great team.
Okay.
That's 3. I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Because the team part, actually, I think that's a very important one, because there's this whole idea around business that, when you go into business, you have to be the chief, the baker, the bottle washer, and everything all at once. And for someone like you who is in the business of doing the business, how true or untrue is that?
Oh, I mean, when you start out, you have no choice but to do it all, unless you have like super investment, or you've got a lot of capital behind you. You do have to do everything yourself, but it also can be, it's great, and it's a great learning experience, because having an understanding of everything that your business needs is great. But then you have to learn how to delegate and not keep onto things too long. And, that's something that I definitely had to learn myself. If I was to do it all again, the one thing I would have done is started to build a team earlier. Okay. Because you really don't have to struggle as much. And also outsource. If there's something that you're not good at, collaborate with someone. See if there's something if any shortcomings you have and shortcomings they have, see if you can trade. I've done a lot of trading with other businesses where I've helped them and they've helped me in different things. And also start outsourcing. If there's something that can be done that would free up your time to do something else, especially if it's a profit generating activity, outsource it. You don't have to keep everything in. Even before you can afford to hire people and build your team, outsource, get freelancers, do something to take that weight off yourself, and don't hold on to everything for too long.
Okay. That's actually quite important. And I think that's something that should be shared with, everybody going into business, not to do things by yourself if you don't have to.
Definitely. And that in itself is self-care.
Exactly.
Because it's not struggling through everything when you don't have to.
Bingo. And, I've just had another question that's come in, and they're asking, they want to know, what is your favorite foodie dish to make?
Ooh, my favorite foodie dish. I'm not going to lie, I eat so much. I shop for a family and it's just me. I eat. Food is my vice. I eat so much food. Oh my gosh, what's my favorite foodie dish? Oh my gosh, I can't even pick one thing. All right, I really can't. I love it that much. I'm so sorry.
So let me rephrase the question. If you were stuck on a deserted island, what's the one thing?
That's even harder than my favorite food dish. It will change every week. And I can overeat things until I don't want to eat them anymore. If I was stuck on an island with my favorite food, within like 3 weeks, I'd be like, this is not my favorite anymore. What am I going to do now?
No, I was going to ask, what's the one thing you will absolutely miss?
Oh man, that's even harder. You asked this question. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't. All food is equal. All food is amazing. Apart from hummus. No, that's not amazing.
Wait. Why the hummus hate? Why the hummus hate?
Hummus is offensive. And avocados. I don't understand them.
Hey, you know what?
And
listen.
Guacamole, all of those. Friends there? No.
You see, I might roll with you with the hummus, but I do like beetroot hummus. Don't judge me. But the guacamole is your friend. It's your friend.
Guacamole is nobody's friend. I'm sorry, Lillian.
Avocado is your friend unless you cut your hand open when you're trying to get out the stones. You know, this is YouTube's fault. I'm gonna tell you this: YouTube is gonna get people killed. Apparently, the in A&E right now, one of the most major injuries has been classed as the middle class injury is people cutting their hands open trying to halve a avocado.
Wow. I've been watching my mum do this like all my life. My mum has been eating avocados for as long as I know, and she like cuts the avocado open with like almost one swoop, like some ninja. I don't know how she does it. I would definitely be in A&E with like some form of injury. But yeah. I'm so sorry I can't give you my favorite food or what I couldn't live without. It literally changed by tomorrow.
Well, at least we know it's not hummus, it's not avocados, and what was the other one? Yeah, we know what it isn't. Okay, at least we can live with this. We know what it isn't, you know. So I won't invite you over and try to tempt you with some beetroot hummus. Don't worry, you're safe.
I don't know though, because I really like beetroot, so I'm always willing to try something to determine whether or not I like it. But yeah, like I like beetroot, so you might be able to tempt me, Lillian. You might.
You're like, yeah, if there's nothing else to eat.
I mean, there'd have to be other stuff there, like, right? Like, you're not just going to serve me beetroot and hummus by itself. Like, that's not what your plan is, right?
No. That will be horrible. That won't be right. That won't be right. So no, okay. we'll work more than the beetroot.
Yeah. So actually, right now, like, I'm kind of in love with salmon, but only because I brought I have a chest freezer and I brought 3 salmon sides. So I've got a lot of salmon to get through. So I'm being quite inventive with salmon at the moment.
Okay. See, now I don't eat fish. And recently my doctor said to me, you have to have more fish in your diet. And I discovered salmon, as in smoked salmon. I'm not sure that's what my doctor had in mind, but I got there. It's a little bit of fish. It tastes like weird ham. It's a start.
Yeah. You have to progress onto the salmon side. Salmon's amazing. It's so versatile. You can literally do so many things with it.
Yeah, but it's still fish. So I can, like I said, there's a part of my brain that just can't do it. And so, like I said, I got to smoked salmon. We're at smoked salmon. So that's a place. I can do smoked salmon.
That is a great achievement for a non-fish eater. No, it really is, like, because I know fish eaters who won't even eat smoked salmon.
You know, so
you're doing well, Ian.
Exactly. Well. Thank you. Apparently, you've gotten a voice of endorsement. So someone has come back in. Norman has come in and says, "Guacamole is nobody's friend. Truer words were never spoken."
Thank you so much. I'm so glad someone understands, because it is really how I feel.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I guarantee there's so many of us. We're on the same page. We're here. Thank you.
Listen, you people haven't lived until you've had avocados, smashed avocados with a bit of lemon, pepper, and salt on toast, and then have a poached egg on top of that. That's my friends. Yes.
Sounds like torture. Thank you, Lillian. It's too many textures going on as well. No, that's all wrong. It's all wrong. All of it.
What, you don't like poached eggs too?
Poached egg if they're with something that has a firmer texture, but poached eggs on top of something that's already mushy. I mean, it's basically just glorified baby food. Like that's what it is.
Melissa, that's it. We're done. We're through.
It's okay. It'll be all hugs and all love at Big Hair Self-Care. It's fine. We can repair this. We can build back on our relationship.
We can build. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can.
I just won't take you to brunch. That's all.
Yeah, I'd have to choose. I definitely have to choose the brunch place.
Oh Lord. Okay. So, all right. So you've heard it here. We've had Melissa Sinclair here, and we're talking about big hair, and we're talking about branding a product that is made to love our hair. We're talking about her Big Hair Self-Care events. The next one is happening on the 9th of June in Battersea. The links will follow through. And we've been talking about the woman behind the adventure that is Big Hair. So if you want to find out more, how can people get hold of you?
So our website is bighair.co.uk. Instagram, we're at Big Hair. Same on Twitter, Big Hair Beauty, /Big Hair Beauty on Facebook.
Okay, so you've
all over the web.
You can find her and connect with her. Let her know you heard her on the show. And here's the next thing. Go out and buy the products. Stop buying the products that are slowly poisoning you. Stop buying products that are not doing you justice. And if you're angry at another brand, stop being angry and support brands that are actually made to represent you.
I love it. We welcome you with open arms. Drop us an email. Talk to us on Instagram or social media. We're there.
Awesome. So it's a wrap, people. Another day, another episode is done. Join us same place, same time next week for a brand new show. Now let's go to our outro.
You've been listening to the Shine Out Loud show. If you want to connect with us or let us know what you thought of today's show, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Shine Out Show.